SDG2, End Hunger.
The second of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDG2, Zero Hunger, is a commitment to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture by 2030. It aims to ensure universal access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food for all people, especially the poor and vulnerable, including infants, all year round.
That's a crucial goal, but it seems we're far from achieving it. The number of people facing hunger globally has significantly increased, with an estimated 691 to 783 million people lacking sufficient food in 2022. This means that 9.2% of the global population was affected by hunger in 2022, up from 7.9% in 2019 before the pandemic. In fact, undernourishment has been on an increasing trend since 2015, and the world is back at hunger levels not seen since 2005. Globally, between 720 and 811 million people faced hunger in 2020, which was around 118 million more than in 2019.
And it's not just hunger, but malnutrition too. By 2030, SDG2 also aims to end all forms of malnutrition, including achieving internationally agreed targets on stunting and wasting in children under 5 years of age by 2025, and addressing the nutritional needs of adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older persons. This is particularly concerning given that 49.2 million children under 5 years of age are stunted and 45.4 million are wasted globally.
The sources highlight several intensifying factors behind this rise in hunger and food insecurity. Conflict, climate change, and economic slowdowns or downturns are consistently mentioned as major drivers. For example, in the Near East and North Africa region, these drivers, combined with inequalities and the lack of affordability of healthy diets, mean the region is far off track for achieving SDG2.
Absolutely. Climate extremes such as droughts causing harvest failures and livestock loss, and floods leading to farmland destruction directly impact agricultural production and food security. We've seen this in the Horn of Africa, which faced its worst drought in 40 years, with up to 20 million people experiencing acute food insecurity. The COVID-19 pandemic also disrupted agricultural production and supply chains, leading to an additional 83 to 132 million people suffering from undernourishment in 2020. The war in Ukraine has further exacerbated the global food crisis by impacting food prices and the availability of essential foods, fertilizers, and fuel. This confluence of crises makes achieving zero hunger by 2030 incredibly challenging if current trends persist.
One of the most staggering facts is the amount of food wasted. Reducing food waste has a crucial role to play in improving food security worldwide. It's estimated that the quantities of edible food that are wasted are staggering. A conservative estimate suggests that if only 25% of all food wasted in households globally were edible, that would still be equivalent to 1 billion meals of edible food being wasted every single day in households worldwide. That's enough to provide 1.3 meals per day for each of the 783 million people affected by hunger in 2021.
It's an immense waste of resources. For the purposes of the Food Waste Index, food waste is defined as food and its associated inedible parts removed from the human food supply chain in the retail, food service, and household sectors. This includes both edible parts intended for human consumption and inedible components like bones or rinds. The distinction between edible and inedible is often not clear-cut and can vary culturally. For example, chicken feet are consumed in some parts of the world but not others. Including inedible parts is also practical for measurement because it's challenging to accurately measure edible food waste without also measuring inedible parts.
And beyond food security, food waste has devastating environmental effects. It's responsible for an estimated 8 to 10% of greenhouse gas emissions. The environmental impact accrues across the life cycle of food products, meaning food waste at the consumer level presents the highest burden. Promoting sustainable agriculture is key to addressing these issues. SDG2 targets include ensuring sustainable food production systems and implementing resilient agricultural practices that increase productivity, maintain ecosystems, strengthen adaptation to climate change, and progressively improve land and soil quality. Organizations like C4ICRAFT are promoting agroecological approaches
including farmer-led strategies to increase tree cover and diversity across agricultural landscapes to boost food production while preserving soil health.
And it's vital to focus on the small-scale food producers, especially women, indigenous peoples, family farmers, pastoralists, and fishers. SDG2 aims to double their agricultural productivity and incomes by 2030 through secure and equal access to land, productive resources, knowledge, financial services, and markets. In many African communities, women and young people are disadvantaged due to social and cultural norms, lacking access to necessary resources for productive agribusiness systems. Empowering them can significantly contribute to food security.
Investments are also critical. SDG 2.A calls for increased investment in rural infrastructure, agricultural research, technology, and gene banks to enhance agricultural productive capacity in developing countries. This includes efforts to maintain the genetic diversity of seeds, cultivated plants, and farmed animals, which is crucial for resilience.
Addressing hunger requires a systemic and collaborative approach. Public-private partnerships, PPPs, are highlighted as a potential solution to reduce food loss and waste, alleviate food insecurity, and deliver environmental benefits. These partnerships bring together stakeholders across the entire food supply chain, businesses, governments, NGOs, and civil society to work towards shared goals. The court-told commitment in the UK, for example, has resulted in a 27% reduction in household food waste per capita and a 23% reduction in total food waste per capita between 2007 and 2018. PPPs operate on a target, measure, act approach, setting clear targets, ensuring consistent measurement using common methodologies, and then taking action to reduce food loss and waste. Governments play a crucial role by providing an evidence base, bringing organizations together, and offering financial support, as mixed funding models are more stable and effective.
However, significant financial resources are needed. The NINA region, for instance, requires an estimated USD 13.3 billion annually to transform its food systems and address the funding gap to end hunger and malnutrition. To reverse the increasing trend of undernourishment and combat malnutrition, a complete transformation of agri-food systems is necessary. This transformation must deliver food security and affordable healthy diets, build greater resilience to major drivers of hunger, and address fair livelihoods and inequalities. This requires repurposing existing domestic subsidies to promote nutritious foods and sustainable production, and securing additional public and private financial resources.
It's clear that no single actor can solve the problem alone. Having food waste, for example, is a job too large for any one stakeholder, but it can be achieved through concerted, collaborative effort. This means increasing measurement efforts to understand food waste better, tailoring circular approaches to specific urban and rural populations, and ensuring consumer education interventions are inclusive and address gender inequalities. The urgency to deliver SDG2 by 2030 demands that funding matches ambition, drawing from diverse sources and innovative finance mechanisms.